Who is Mary Roy? If you are Indian and especially a woman, you should probably know, but I bet you don't. If you have attended university in any arts degree involving literature or sociology, you were definitely forced to study her daughter's work. Her daughter is the famous Arundhati Roy. I'm sure you must have all heard about her. Author of such successful and controversial novels as The God of Small Things and The Ministry of Utmost Happiness. The first novel, especially, is a seminal article of Indian counterculture. The full of debaucherous activities and heavily critical of society, it is forced on students of sociology and feminism and literature like a necessary drug. Take it, read it, understand it. We are told as students. Her essays and articles have become essential reading for millions of students. But this year, Miss Arundhati will release a new memoir, Mother Mary Come to Me. It's not yet on sale, so I haven't had an opportunity to read it, but reports say that it is an astonishing, disconcerting, surprisingly funny chronicle. Unique and simultaneously universal. It is described as a deeply personal exploration of Roy's complex relationship with her mother and how that relationship shaped her both as a person and as a writer. If, like me, you were forced to study Arundhati Roy's God of Small Things, you might remember the dedication at the start. For Mary Roy, who grew me up, who taught me to say excuse me before interrupting her in public, and who loved me enough to let me go. But what is this about? Who was Mary Roy and why was she such an influence on the author? The truth is that Mary Roy was a great and amazing figure that we Indians should all learn about in history books, but for some reason we don't. There have been no documentary films made about her. There has only been one book written about her, which is mostly about her educational career. But it's amazing that we don't all learn about one of the most incredible women who fought against the law and spent 50 years challenging the constitution and fighting for justice for women, and she won. But we don't learn about this at school. When I attempted to talk about it at university, I was heavily criticized and told that I was off topic and that it just did not matter. So let's talk about who Mary Roy was and what she fought for. A woman who spent 50 years of her life fighting for the rights of women so that others wouldn't have to go through what she did. Mary Roy was born to a Syrian Christian entomologist. She grew up in Delhi, where she completed her schooling and received her BA from Queen Mary's College in Madras. While working in Calcutta, she married her Bengali Christian husband, which was against the will of her father, because her husband was not a Syrian Christian. Because of this, she was refused any dowry. Her marriage was abusive and her husband was described as an alcoholic, and she divorced him at the age of just 30. She had two children, Arundhati and Lalit. But it wasn't until her father died that problems arose. The Travancore Christian Succession Act of 1916 stated that daughters in Syrian Christian families had no right over the father's properties. Mary Roy was entitled to a mere 5,000 rupees inheritance, while her brothers stood to inherit everything. So she sued her brother for equal inheritance, but the law consistently denied her the right. However, Mary Roy challenged the Travancore Christian Succession Act as being a violation of Article 14 and 15 of the Constitution of India. This act, she said, violates the principles of equality and discriminate between men and women on the basis of gender. Article 14 of the Constitution of India centers around the right to equality, and it guarantees men and women equality before the law and equal protection under those laws. It prohibits arbitrary classification based solely on gender. Article 15 is the article of prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. So Mary Roy's challenge to the Travancore Syrian Christian Succession Act was based on the concept that this law violated the basic constitutional rights of women in India. In 1983, Mary Roy filed against the state of Kerala as a writ petition under Article 32 of the Constitution of India. This is an article that guarantees the right to constitutional remedies. If you have a case that may otherwise be dismissed as regional, but you believe the case is based on constitutional rights such as the right to habeas corpus, which is about the release of unlawful prisoners, mandamus, which is the right to direct a public authority to perform its duty, prohibition, which is to prevent a lower court ignoring its jurisdiction, quo warranto, which is to challenge the position of a public officer, or certiorari, which is to quash the order of a lower court that has succeeded its power, you may apply. It also includes non-suspendable rights of the Constitution. It is known as the right of constitutional remedies. Mary Roy used Article 32, which is the right to constitutional remedy, in order to bring a challenge under Article 14, which is the right to equality, in order to move her argument to the Supreme Court. And in 1986, the Supreme Court ruled in her favor, declaring that Travancore Christian Succession Act was unconstitutional and violated her rights to equality under the law, and declared that Syrian Christian women were entitled to equal inheritance rights under the Indian Succession Act of 1925, insisting that uniformity must be applied under the law and repealing these discriminatory local laws. This was a case that took nearly 50 years to complete. In 1983, she filed her writ under Article 32 to the Supreme Court of India, challenging the TCSA's discriminatory provisions, and it was on 24th February 1986 that the Supreme Court delivered its landmark judgment, causing the TCSA to be repealed. But this was not the end. In 1989, she approached the Kottayam District Court to claim her share of the father's estate, but it was dismissed because her mother was still alive and the TCSA had granted her mother a life interest in the property. In 2000, after her mother's death, Mary Roy returned to the Kottayam Subcourt to apply for a final decree for her share of the property, and after many years of litigation, in 2009, she filed an execution petition to enforce the Supreme Court's ruling. In the year of 2010, 50 years after she began her battle, the Kottayam Subcourt finally executed the decree granting Mary Roy her share of the property valued at 2 crores, which she donated entirely to charity. Mary Roy fought not for the money, but for the right for women to be equal to men, to have the right to inherit and to overturn unjust laws that prevent women from having the same rights as men. There are some stories, but they are unverifiable, that when Mary Roy obtained the right to the property, that she bulldozed the house on the property, stating to a journalist at the scene that it has caused her enough pain. These reports have never been verified, and it's unsure from my research that she ever did anything like this. But I guess sometimes you can't let the truth get in the way of a good story. While the story of Mary Roy bulldozing the property that took her 50 years to win may not be true, there is no doubt that her fight is very real. And this is a landmark legal case that overturned laws like the Travancore Syrian Christian Inheritance Act and paved the way for women all over India to challenge unjust laws that denied equality for women. And for that, every university student in India, whether they study law or sociology or literature or any other aspect of the arts, should all know the name of Mary Roy. Just like Arundhati Roy, we should look to Mary Roy as a STEM but determined mother who teaches us about our rights. From her years in 1967, she founded the Pallikudam School, originally known as the Corpus Christi High School in Kottayam in Kerala, which stood for progressive, holistic, and unconventional learning. Mary Roy taught students from diverse backgrounds with a holistic and religious but open approach in progressive educational philosophy, with a focus on there being no discrimination based on gender, caste, or economic status. It offered scholarships and financial aid to make education accessible, reflecting Mary Roy's belief that education was a fundamental human right. Known as the firebrand of Kottayam for her stand against patriarchal attitudes, Mary Roy is a woman that we should all aspire to be. She has raised and taught many controversial figures, including artists and poets, but none perhaps as great as her own daughter, Arundhati Roy. I look forward to Arundhati's new book, which will be released in September, and I hope it brings us more insights into this amazing woman's life that we all should be more aware of. Mother Mary Comes to Me is sure to be a beautiful memoir about Mary Roy's legacy and the effect it had on her talented daughter. Thank you, and please subscribe for more stories like this on law and sociology. See you next time.